Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new books by indie authors. Your hostess for today's show is Mary Ann Faremouth. We hope you do enjoy today's show.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that supports authors and its affiliates all over the world. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth. I'm a multi-genre author, corporate trainer, recruiter, and speaker. And today I am just delighted to have a guest on our show that is a multi-talented individual. Mary Jane Overall is an artist who likes to explore the arts through many different dimensions. Not only is she an author, she also weaves houses that are amazing. She is involved in painting. She's been a news editor, and the list goes on and on. But without further ado, help me welcome Mary Jane Overall. Mary Jane, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for having me on this program. I've been watching some of your programs, and they've really given me some insight into various things that I can use or do or techniques for writing. So I really appreciate it.
Well, we love having you on here because you are the kind of individual that I believe in these times makes our world a better place. You are dedicated to the arts. You're trying to help children learn about the arts. And Mary Jane, tell us, how long have you been working as an artist and how did you get into it?
Well, I've been working as an artist, since I was quite young. But my father sort of saw my future as being in diplomacy, and thus I studied political science. But on the side, I was doing art things. So for many, many years.
Okay, that kind of reminds me of J.K. Rowling. She was talking about how when she was in school, she'd sneak off to write about fantasy because her family wanted her to do something else. So I think a lot of us, go in a different direction when we're told to do one thing and we want to do something else. So your website's amazing, and I loved all these beautiful houses that you weave. Tell us about this weaving in Nepal and how you learned how to do all that and what it's about. I mean, they're majestic, they're amazing.
Well, when I was in Nepal, I went over to the Tibetan refugee camp, and because I was fascinated in weaving, and I said, can someone teach me how to do this? It was Jawalika was the Tibetan refugee camp. And so Yishi, who was a young Tibetan, said, I'll show you. And so they helped me get a loom and taught me how to weave. So I was first weaving rugs. And then when I came back to America, one of my teachers said, why are you just weaving rugs? And I'm like, well, I think they're pretty cool. Look at these dragons. And he, that sort of made me go, well, okay, you don't like that? I'm going to really do something. But the thing is, what really prompted me to do those weavings was because I got bored with museums, and art is for the people, and it was so precious. It's like, don't get too near, don't touch, all of this. And I said, yes, touch, go inside, enjoy. But even when I had these weavings on exhibit, people would stand outside. One person did put a suitcase inside of one, but here in Tucson, we actually have an artist who's having a show soon. His name is Toledo. And he and I were both in an exhibit in Mexico City, one of my houses. And that he has passed away, unfortunately. But the particular house that was there is that great big one that looks like a tree. And I gave that to a dancer called Onesimo Gonzalez for his performances so they could use that. So
how great is that? Well, you are obviously an artist of many dimensions, and writing being one of them. But we talked in the Blue Room a little bit about your love of writing children's books, and that you decided to write about what you did because children were talking about dinosaurs or wanting to read about dinosaurs, and you thought, there's more, children should be learning about art. So tell us how the book came out, the children's book,
Well,
about art and how you got into that story about the dinosaurs. So that was kind of interesting.
well, I have something on YouTube where I read the book, and it's kind of odd, but no, I would go in and teach kids, and they would tell me all about these dinosaurs, and they knew everything about them, the names and the parts and what they did. I thought, well, they can learn about abstract expressionism easily, different forms, really, because they knew all those names, and thus I wrote my first book, Camille's Fakes, basically about a little girl who goes and imitates art, and she gets written up in a newspaper, child, oh no, somebody offers her $50,000 for a fake that she did. And so she gets written up in the newspaper, and everybody's like, wow, $50,000. So these crooks see her, and they see the article, and they're like, well, let's take her to Paris, because in the Louvre, I don't know if you know this, and I'm not sure if they're still doing it, you could sit in the Louvre and do paintings, to practice. So they brought her to Paris with her mother, and she goes to the Louvre, and she starts making these paintings, right? And she doesn't know they're selling them as real things on the side until she hears them one night, and she goes, okay, that's it. And her mother's like, we're getting out of here. And she goes, no, I want to think of something really good to do. So what she does is she paints a painting of herself painting to trick them, because she does it so well that when the crooks come in, they think she's there, and she's able to escape with her mother. So that's basically what that's about.
Okay, so the book has got some aspects of morality and doing the right thing to it also, that our children need to learn about these days. So how cool is that? That's wonderful. Well, it looks like you're very well traveled. I mean, you talk about Nepal, and then I believe you've done some work in Australia with the Aborigines. Tell me about that. Was that because of writing or research, or what was that about?
Well, no, what that was about was I won this award, the Chroma Quill Arts Award, and they brought me over to Australia, and I was exploring everything. And I thought, well, I really want to go hang out with the Aborigines. They're up north in the Northern Territory. So long story short, I got up there, I made some friends, but at the time, communicable diseases had a problem with STDs. Now, if an STD, or it was really HIV, if it gets into the communities, because of some of their practices, that would have spread everywhere and truly harmed the people. So they said, well, why don't you do a video explaining these things to them? And of course, they gave me a video that said, John goes to the bar, he walks in, he gets drunk, he goes home with this woman, and I'm like, and he gets an STD. I'm like, are you kidding? I said, why don't you let them write it? So I gave it to my Aboriginal friends. They rewrote the script. And basically it starts out with this guy named Charlie, who's drinking with his buddies. And then he goes, hey, you know what? Lucy, and he picks up the sticks. He says, Lucy thinks this stick is going to give us a whole bunch of pickaninnies. That's full of bullshit. And he throws it, and it swings in the air, and smoke comes out, and a spirit comes in and shows up to talk. And then Charlie runs away. It's like, anyway, so that's the beginning of the story, to draw them in. But the difference, I guess the moral of the story is, if you're writing for a culture, they need to be involved in the script of that. And thus, with my current children's books, I'm sort of focusing on the multicultural side of things, introducing kids to different cultures through the arts.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I know there's one book you're really, so proud of, and I looked at it quite a bit on your website, and that's Buffalo Johnny. Tell us about that book.
Okay, now that's another. When I was living in the outback, I was roaming around with a good friend of mine, Jackie, and we drove past this thing. It's like, what the heck is that? Anyway, oh, that's Johnny Zoo. Well, anyway, to make the story short, Johnny was a Belgian, And during the war, he had helped the Jewish people. They were working in the same airplane factory as he was, and he would help them, and he would mail letters for them and bring them letters back. And he got caught, and he was put in a concentration camp for 4 years, even though he wasn't Jewish. Well, when he got out, he had been to Africa, and he loved Albert Schweitzer's hospital down in Africa that had all these animals everywhere. So he said, I'm going to do that. So when he got to the Northern Territory, he was working for a mining company, and he had a house there in Bachelor, and he started collecting animals. Well, when he got 140 in his backyard, people were like, hey, Johnny, you need to do something about this. So the mining company wound up giving him a plot of land, but the plot of land was an old military base because during the war, the Japanese had bombed Darwin. So Johnny gets this big plot of land, and what's there but bombs and missiles and corrugated iron? He builds this huge zoo out of those materials. There are pictures in the book of that. And he and his friends also catch all the animals. I mean, there are instructions on how to get a crocodile and other animals from out bush. So it's
wow, it's amazing that the diversity or the wide range of things you can write about. And also, weren't you a news editor?
Yes, I was.
Mary Jane for the KVOA in Tucson. I mean, how was that? How did you get into that?
Well, because I knew how to edit, and I also started my own show called 15 Minutes through Access Tucson, and then did the news editing.
Let's hold that thought and we'll come right back. That's not our sponsor. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elle Ballard, and I'm the founder of Women of the World Network, a supportive entrepreneurial community of multinational women. I'm excited to announce we have second series launching for our anthology, Recipes for Body, Mind, and Soul, on April 7th. If you'd like to participate in any of our future anthologies or just check out our community, visit womenoftheworldnetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Charles Brakefield.
And I'm Rox Berkey.
Together, we write as Brakefield and Berkey.
Our techno-thriller series is 12 books strong, with book 13, The Enigma Tracer, planned for 2022.
Techno-thrillers are the cyber good guys versus today's darknet thugs.
We added our series prelude, Out of Poland, a 1939 historical novella, in 2021.
We also have 8 short stories available in family and women's contemporary genres, with more planned for 2022.
Please visit our website, enigmaseries.com, to learn more about why we say technology is today's weapon of choice. Thank you.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new books by indie authors. Your hostess for today's show is Mary Ann Faremouth. We hope you do enjoy today's show.
Welcome back to the Indie Beacon Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that supports authors and its affiliates all over the world. Today, I'm just delighted that we're speaking with Mary Jane Overall, an artist in many dimensions. And she's a woman of many, many talents. She's done so many exciting and wonderful things in her life. And we were just talking about her being a news editor for a station in Tucson. Mary Jane, tell us a little bit about that and how you got into that. I mean, I understand it's very, very hard to get into that kind of work.
I know, and I was old too, but who wants to get up at 2 a.m, right? So I said, okay, I'll go in. And oftentimes I'd be laughing because some of the news, because I hadn't lived in America that long. And so, I was like, what are they doing? I'd start laughing and they'd go, that's racist. And I said, I'm not racist. I've worked with the Aborigines. Some of them are my best friends. No. So it was an interesting job, but very tiring.
Okay. All right. Well, you've done so many things, but, what do you have on the docket for the future? And what kind of things do you want to bring out going forward? Have you thought about that?
I want to learn how to make video games. And yeah, that's my next idea of how to do it and what to do it and what it'll be all about. But I'm right now finishing one of my books on the Japanese culture. I'm doing all the drawings and paintings for that right now. So when that gets done, I've got somebody else I'm going to work on about a book about Saudi Arabia. And oh boy, I didn't realize, I mean, I've had Saudi friends, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting challenge to make it.
Like that.
Yeah.
Well, you've lived in so many places. You
Yes.
have such a vast amount of experiences from which to draw. I'm thinking there could be a lot of books on the docket for you with all the different experiences you've had. I mean, have you ever thought about writing a fiction book too?
Well, no, not really, not yet. The next thing I'm thinking about are the video games, actually.
What kind of video games will they be? I mean,
Well,
will they have something to do with the arts?
It's yeah, probably, catch Picasso or, I don't know, something simple.
So as a young child, I'm just wondering where all this came from. I mean, I know what you said about your dad wanting you to kind of, do something else, but did you always have an interest in the arts, or where did it come from exactly? Do you know?
Well, I had a big interest. My father, since we traveled so much, he was in the military. He insisted that we didn't go to school on the basis, that we went out into the communities. And that oftentimes meant we had to learn another language and mix with the community, not be isolated, because military bases can be very, just America. And you're living in another country. Why not be out there meeting the people and exploring the culture? And yes, he was the one that definitely encouraged travel and mixing with other cultures and appreciation of the other cultures. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that's a prevailing theme in everything you write is culture and the beauty of it and the artistic element of it. And I think for what we're all dealing with these days, I think that's a wonderful thing to write about. It's refreshing and it's positive and it's beautiful. So I applaud you for doing that. And it also sounds like you're very much into the human element and what's helping people prevent them from damage or harm or illness or things like that. Is that just part of who you are, or did you have an experience that got you to feel that way, or how'd that all come about?
I think it was just understanding. I was raised. Two of the people that worked with my parents for a while at my parents' house, Mohammed and Meloda. And I remember, Mohammed taught me a lot about life. Basically, I remember I lost something and I was like, ah! And he's, what are you doing? It's just a thing, and you'll probably find it, but they, and that sort of made me think about the other cultures and the people around me. And yeah, he was my first sort of inspiration in that direction, I guess you would say.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm certainly, of the opinion of all of us writers have had something happen to us that has inspired us, either something good or something bad. But from it, we write to sometimes help us process, but also to help others not ever deal with that. So that's kind of a neat thing. And with your colorful background, you're living all over the world and all the different things that you've done. And I can't imagine what the future is going to hold for you. It sounds so exciting.
Hopefully it's very good and happy and fun and yahoo. Yeah, but I saw, oftentimes people can be very prejudiced about other people from other cultures because of the way they dress and what they do. So exposing what those things are through the arts. For example, 2 Tibetan monks helped me write this one book. And one of the features in it is when they do the sand paintings and they blow the sand painting, the beautiful sand, and people come and they look and they're like, oh, that's so beautiful. And then when it's finished, they just wipe it away and people are like, ah! You spent so much time making that. What is that? And it shows impermanence and not being attached. But it's quite a strong demonstration of that, I can tell you.
Well, I'm sure being around the Tibetans, you had a lot of beautiful spiritual teachings that you probably could put into some of your writing too, because the Tibetans are famous for some of the most wonderful spiritual teachings of all, aren't they?
Well, yeah, and mostly they were teaching me how to weave. Be quiet, do that next stitch, cut it this way. No, they've been an inspiration, and they were very, very, very good to me. I live with them for a year, and there was a family downstairs that would come up, and we'd have dinner. Oh, and the funniest thing, when my husband to be came to stay with me there, the woman that lived downstairs, she brought Maus upstairs, but she crawled over to the bed. I was like, what are you doing? You're my friend, because you have to keep your head lower than the man's, So anyway.
Interesting. Well, we have just about a minute here left, and
Okay.
it sounds like you have so many interesting projects that you have going forward, and those houses that you weave. I mean, I looked at them. I mean, is there a place people can buy those? I mean, they're so beautiful. And
No.
how long does it take to make those?
It took me a long time. I don't remember, but they did get a lot of attention. And it was just a rebellion against museums that are like making art like this precious thing. No, we want you to enjoy it as much as you can, and as much as you can is like go inside. As I said, they were very, they'd sort of stand around. Sometimes the first exhibit I had, nobody knew who the hell I was. I mean, I was quite young, and it was in Mexico City, and I could just stand by the house and listen to all the comments. No, yes. So anyway,
all right. Well, let's hold that thought, and we'll let our sponsors do their thing, and we'll come right back.
Each and every one of us has a mission in life. Mine is to help people laugh through the good times and the bad. My name is Charlotte Canyon, and I'm an author, a speaker, and a host on Indie Beacon Radio. If you need me to speak at an event or autograph my book, you can contact me at charlotte@charlottecanyon.com. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Authors Marketing International, a membership-based organization where members learn how to better market and sell themselves. Join us at authorsmarketing.org. Hi, this is Beyond Bourgeois. I am the founder and director of the B4 Art Bookstore. We are in our warehouse, and as you can see behind me are some of the books that we have for the short story contest that we run annually. It begins March 1st and runs through July 31st. Of course, if you win, you get copies of the books you're published in, the anthologies, and they go out to libraries and schools. So a great way to discover new readers. Check it out, b4r.store, and good luck. Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new books by indie authors. Your hostess for today's show is Mary Ann Faremouth. We hope you do enjoy today's show.
Welcome back to the Indie Beacon Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that supports authors all over the world. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth, and today we have the honor to be interviewing a wonderful author and multi-talented artist, Mary Jane Overall. We've been talking about all her many wonderful experiences that attribute to her beautiful art in different forms, in the writing form, in the creative form, in the radio form, in the news video form, and all the different things she's still going to do going forward. But Mary Jane, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and order your wonderful books, we have Buffalo Johnny we've talked about and some of the others, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, here's the thing. This is my best marketing tool. Because marijuana is legal, my name is Mary Jane or Maria Juana Overall, sobre todo. So that's how you get me, Mary Jane Overall. You can't forget it. People have tried to buy my URL because of the name. We want that. I was offered $5,000, I think, for it. So they could just, email me, Mary Jane Overall @gmail.com.
Okay. Now, do you have a newsletter, or do you have anything that lets people know when things come out, or you just send out emails, or how will people know when these new things? They'll be on the website, or
I guess I'll have to. Yeah, it would be on the website, and I might send out something through Facebook.
Okay. All right. So if one of our listeners is out there and they're on the fence right now, they're not sure they want to pursue the artistic route or the artistic craft, what would you tell them to convince them to do it?
Well, I just say anything that you want to do it. And if people say no, figure out how you might be able to do it another way. I mean, just don't let the no's. That's the name of the game when you're in the arts, by the way. Rejection is the name of the game. As a writer, you probably know. You send your manuscript, people say no. You know, you bring your artwork to a gallery, they might say no. Don't let that knock you down. You just keep on your trade and what you love to do. And eventually something will probably happen. You know, that's my feeling. I don't know how you feel, Mary Ann.
No, I feel the same way you do. I see, when somebody tells me no, N-O, I turn it around and say, you don't know, K-N-O-W. What I'm going to do if I put my mind to it.
That's so good. I love that. No, I say no.
That's right. Well, I think, you're a wonderful inspiration for artists of every dimension out there. You've done so many wonderful things. You have a beautiful heart. You have a wonderful spirit. And we're just thrilled to have you on Authors Marketing International Indie Beacon Show today. And again, tell us a couple of names. Tell us the names of your books. And then one more time, your website, if you would.
Okay, my website is again, maryjaneoverall.com. And the books that I've done are a Camille series. The main character is Camille. So there's Camille's Fakes, Camille's Dreaming about the Aboriginal culture, Camille's, Gift about the Tibetan culture. And then I did one about the Mexican culture here, in Tucson. So those are the ones that I've done so far as part of the Camille series. Okay. And then the Buffalo Johnny, Portrait of an Aussie Battler. What it's called.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we are thrilled to have you on the show today. You're a real testament of what an artist can do and all the different dimensions of the artistic craft. And we hope we'll keep in touch with you, and all of our listeners out there will check your books out and your beautiful website and see all your beautiful drawings. And until next time, this is Mary Ann Faremouth. This is the Indie Beacon Show. And we appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all very, very much.
Thank you for watching the Indie Beacon Show, produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing International, LLC. Copyright 2022. Voiceover by B. Allen Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please contact us at authorsmarketing@outlook.com. If you would like to be on this show, it is free to authors. Simply fill out the form at indiebeacon.com. The music is provided by Happy Follows. The music is entitled